So it has been a war between the sexes because men have never been able to explain why they've been so upset. I mean, the feminists have been saying, well, Germaine Greer said,
as far as I'm concerned, men are the product of a damaged gene. They pretend to be normal, but what they are doing, sitting there with benign smiles on their faces, is they're manufacturing sperm. I mean, basically what she's saying is that men are doing nothing useful in the world except trying to reproduce their genes. There's no appreciation of men at all.
And Gloria Steinem said, the other feminist said, women needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. I mean, you know, because men are so brutal. You look at it, you've got to be a man in this world. It's horrible because you've got to be tough, and you've got to be tough enough to defy innocence and have the world criticise you and never be able to defend yourself. You know, you chop a tree down and say, well, go and plant it and put it back. You're bad. You're so bad it's not funny. You're just a monster. You're aggressive. You're angry. You're psychotic. You just, what do we want to have anything to do with you? What are men doing on this earth? They're just blights. They turn out to be the hero of the whole story. Men are the heroes of life on earth. Believe me. Consciousness is the greatest invention of nature. To champion consciousness, we had to be strong enough to persevere with the search for knowledge, which was the role men took up. So men are going to men's movements now just to try to rebuild their self-esteem, because there's been so condemned as bad and evil. They're supposed to be metrosexual now and all this crap, and they're just totally crippled, because all they've been told is they're bad, because all the pseudo-idealisms run amok and said, you know, that, you know, men are the plague and they're destroying the planet, which they are, but they're at the same time charged with the task of finding understanding of the human condition. I mean, if you look at all the quotes in the book, and there's thousands of them, 98% of them from men. It's our job to champion the ego, find the greater dignifying understanding that would liberate the human race. But the price we had to pay is to suffer self-corruption. So men have never been able to explain themselves to women. So finally, the war between the sexes can be ended, not through artificial blokes taking up the bloody dishwasher and wiping the dishes or whatever you're supposed to do, but through men saying, this is why I'm upset. There's a good reason. I happen to be good. Okay, I'm not even good, I'm a bloody legend. In fact, I'm the hero of life on earth. Got it? I'm good. And I've had a most horrific job, and it hasn't been made any because you're critical, you know. And then she's got to wisely say back, yeah, but, you know, we had the job of also keeping alive the truthful, soulful side of the life, and to do all the nurturing. So then they say, yeah, well, okay, now we understand each other. That's why I'm so upset. I'm sorry, but that's why it was. And I'll cool off now because I'm not so upset. I'm not so criticised. So they can dialogue. So this will bring a peace to the war between the sexes at last. Not through artificial New Age shit, you know, or feminist demands, and, you know, it's through understanding. This is a thinking thing. Knowledge, brain food. We want knowledge. Not dogma, be good, hug this tree, be kind, you know, whatever it is, you know. Admit you're a rotten person. Do you know what I mean? You go to these men movements, you young blokes, and you'll see they'll try and rebuild you from the oppression of trying to be a bloke, you know? Feeling the anger you feel, and there's no... And they'll just they'll take you and they'll get some guy and they'll give you some film and they'll try and make you feel good about yourself, you know, but they're doing it. And they know that as soon as you go back home, you're going into a realm that's so desperate, so terrified of the upset that's got so out of control in the world that there's nothing else that people have been able to do but try to save the environment and try to reassert feministic views and, you know, holistic, loving views, because it's just got too angry. So the whole thing escalates to a point where it's just unbearable. Men get so upset they're virtually destroying the planet, and they are. But if they quit, they'll stop finding knowledge. So you'll end up with all left-wing things in power and politics, and no right-wing, because there'll be no one can cope with any more power and glory, which is what's needed to find knowledge, which is the compensation for paying the price of becoming corrupted. See, it's a horrific escalating situation. So it's quite understandable that, look, we destroyed the virtual planet, you know, we've got to do something about it. That's totally true. And men have got to rein in their anger, and that's so totally true. But why were men angry? Who's asking that question? Why did we destroy nature? No one asks the real questions, because they know the next thing is the issue of the human condition, because they don't want to go near, so everyone skates around. We just live on the surface.